want to talk to you a little bit about competition, people leaving, joining the competition, and how competition affects our business and how we should approach it with a magic word in sales, which is called vulnerability. So why is this coming to me? Because I just had a conversation. Well, it was a WhatsApp conversation, because that's how we converse in the 21st century. We just type everything. And very cool lady. She's a recruiter for one of our offices. And, you know, she said, when people leave our office and go to the competition or set up their own shop, then we're not supposed to like them on Facebook anymore and, you know, show our appreciation of what they're doing, because it's frowned upon by the owners of our own office. And I don't know how to react to that. I can understand some perspectives. So I want to give you like what I think is the bigger picture. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk, who I already quoted in a previous video, he said that when someone leaves his organization and goes independently or joins a competitor, so on the one hand it was his person, so there is a desire to see this person succeed, because, you know, I invested in him, I raised him, and I educated him, and if he succeeds, it's also a testament to the knowledge and the inspiration that he got from me. On the other hand, there is a part of Mr. Vaynerchuk who says, I also want to see him not succeed, because if he's thriving somewhere else, then I need to look in the mirror and say, why couldn't he thrive the same way under my roof? So I can understand this perspective. The thing is, I believe that if you're in business, then you have to be, whether you like it or not, you have to be a capitalist, because that's where business comes from. It's not a socialistic, you know, experience. It's capitalistic, and in a capitalistic environment, competition is essential to the good of the society, good of the consumer, but also, ironically, to the good of your own company, because competition, and that is the greatest cliche, makes you better. As a trainer, I can share with you that in Europe, I'm considered in real estate a leading trainer in the European market, well, in Remax at least, to be honest. And there's another guy who's quite good, and we're in competition. It's not an official competition. We are competing for the same trainings in the same countries, and the pool is limited. So if I get something, then he probably is not going to get it in the same country the same year, and vice versa. And it's very, very interesting. I remember myself saying a few years ago to my friends, I say, God, this guy, I gotta beat him. And you know what's most annoying about him? He's really good. He's a cool guy. And that's the funny thing, you know, personally, I like him. I think he's also a very good trainer. And we're very different in our style and different in our content, but we both train sales. And you know what? It would be much easier to dislike him as a person, but he's a good person. So, but the competition is driving me. It's great fuel. And I thrive because I'm such a competitive person. So when I see that this guy was invited here or invited there, it just makes me work harder, develop more contact, develop more connections, work that extra hours that I need to put in connecting with people and networking and doing everything I need to do to get invited to my next training and my next customer. So I like that he's there. I would not want to be a monopoly in my industry or any other industry, because then you just fall asleep and you lose your edge. And that's true in any business. Now, when you're a business owner and people leave you, let's say agents in real estate, right? That's a very, very volatile business. One day they're in this office and then someone seduced them from a different office with a higher split or better, I don't know, terms and conditions, and they left. So there's this natural reaction of actually expunging them totally from the life of their previous office. And everyone from that office is not allowed to connect with them, to communicate, to like them, and God forbid even to do things like cooperate with them, which is terrible. And I can understand that it is human nature in a certain way to react like this. But I think that if you want to run a successful business and if you want to stay consistent, then you have to put the emotional aspect of being left for the competition, or what the competition does to you, or what you perceive as the competition doing to you. You have to put it in a compartment called an emotional box and not touch it, and stay rational and stay loyal to the principles, to the capitalistic principles that whether you're aware of them or not are the ones that set you on this journey of starting your own business. And that is that every person belongs to himself. Every person has the right to fulfill themselves. And if they do it in a different place, the first thing you need to ask is, why couldn't they do it with me? What did I didn't do that someone else did? And acknowledge to yourself that you lost a person that you actually respect, that you actually care about. Now, I've seen this happen so many times. Like a broker owner would say to me, this agent is the best, I love him, blah, blah, blah. 5 months later, he's in a different company. I never really wanted him anyway. He was lazy and he was a bad apple and he was, ruining the entire office. I don't like that. That's not trustworthy. That's not consistent. And that's where you're missing this super important quality in sales, which is called vulnerability. We believe that in sales you cannot be vulnerable. You have to project an image, unbreakable, invincible. That's the only way clients will relate to you, which is obviously so wrong. They want to see a human being. They want to see someone who errs, someone who feels, someone who acknowledges mistakes. They want to see someone who is vulnerable. The reason we're not showing our vulnerable side to our customers and to people around us is not because we're trying to be better salespeople and stay strong. The reason is lack of self-confidence, because we feel that if we show cracks in the in the exterior, in the wall that surrounds us, then people will see that there's not much behind that wall, and that all our self-confidence and our ego are based on a very, very, very shaky foundation. The real work here is self-confidence, is being able. And I remember a trainer by the name of John Chaplek, trainer and coach in real estate as well, who visited Israel and shared with us this principle of vulnerability, and say, this is the way you recruit people, this is the way you get customers, this is the way you retain them, and you get them to become your ambassadors for life, by showing them that you really care, that you are vulnerable, that you can be hurt by a customer's behavior, by an employee's behavior, and it's okay, because you will move on. You are strong. You will move on. You're not going to fall apart, but you care, and you show it, and you're real, and you respect the other person's right and the competitor's right to exist, to work ethically, of course, and legally, but they have a right to exist, to fight for their business, like you have the right to fight for yours, and like your people have the right to do what they think is improve their own fate. That's the only way I think you can run a successful organization for the long term and have people respect you, not only when they work with you and for you, but also when they work as competitors against you. You still enjoy this respect, is a true mark of a real businessman.